Okay, it's 3 minutes past, so I think we should start. We've got a lot to get through. So welcome to the webinar for Sutton. If I can ask you just to keep your cameras off and put yourselves on mute, please. I am recording the session for distribution. Obviously, if you want to ask a question, please just raise your hand or put something in the chat function. And hopefully someone will be able to help you with your question. So to start today's session, you should all be able to see the Enhanced Health and Care Home DES recording on Arden's presentation. We're fortunate enough to be joined today by Charmaine, who is the head of training for Arden's, and also Jag, who's the practice manager working on behalf of Sutton PCNs. Charmaine's going to be presenting just after me. I'm doing Shazma's presentation as she's had to do some mandatory training. So just to go through the slides then. So the Enhanced Health and Care Home DES recording on Arden. So this is important for care home leaves, and this is following an update in October 2021. So the minimum requirements to meet the DES, so there's 4 criteria against the tick boxes, which have all been added on one page by Arden's as of yesterday. So just to look at the criteria, we've got EHCH01, which is record patients living in a care home, EHCH02, which is personalised support and care plans, EHCH03, which is structured medication reviews, and EHCH04, which are the weekly rounds and MDTs. You can use the Arden's Care Home Review template to review these. So EHCH01 is a record of living in a care home. So this is the number of patients recorded as living in a care home as percentage of care home beds eligible to receive the network contract DES Enhanced Health and Care Home service. So the IIF, which is the Investment and Impact Fund, has the lower and the higher threshold. So you can see the lower threshold here is 30% with the higher threshold of 85%. And you can record by selecting care home type, so either lives in a residential home or lives in a nursing home. For those in LD and mental health homes, you should just tick the lives in a residential home. And it's important to remember not to select the lives in supported home, as this does not qualify for the EHCH DES. On to the second criteria. So this is the percentage of care home residents with a personalised care and support plan, or a PCSP, agreed or reviewed. So you can see that the impact and investment fund thresholds are higher. So the lower threshold is 80% with an upper threshold of 98%. So for new admissions, the care plan should be agreed with the care homes within 7 days. And this should be possible as the care home support team can also support with this. So if advanced care planning is carried out, including the CMC and DNAR, you can still tick the PCSP box to meet the DES requirements. If you're just doing a CMC or a DNAR in isolation, you can also tick that box. So to optimise your data, tick the PCSP for every patient reviewed on a weekly round, even if the outcome is stable, no change, or continue current plan. As long as they've been reviewed or discussed, that's the most important thing. So to record, you need to select personalised care and support plan agreed, and that's for first-time reviews, or review of a personalised care and support plan for follow-ups. So criteria 3, again, the thresholds are higher if you want to meet the requirements of the Impact and Investment Fund. So we've got percentage of care home residents who have received a structured medication review. So for the lower threshold, that's 80%, and for the higher threshold, that's 98%. So currently our care home pharmacist, which is Hi, and I know Hi is on the call. So the care home pharmacist is doing the structured medication reviews on new admissions only and patients discussed at a care home MDT where the pharmacist is present. So to meet the investment and impact requirements, GP, care home leads and PCN pharmacists will need to do some SMRs for care home patients too. So to record that, you just tick the structured medication review. And then criteria number 4, so that's average number of patient contacts as part of the weekly care home round per care home residence. So the lower threshold for this is 3 contacts per year for each care home resident, with the upper threshold of 4 contacts per year for each care home resident. So that unfortunately, there's no way of coding a weekly care home round in one go as a block. So you have to go into individual care home patients to record those that you've reviewed. We've had discussions with the care home support team to help provide names and dates of all care home residents reviewed as part of a weekly round to practice managers, which hopefully can be passed to admin for the coding. We're also currently exploring if EMIS Community will resolve the need for this. So how to record, you need to select encounter type and then either care home visit for follow-up patient reviews, or for MDTs, record the care home visit as above, plus the multidisciplinary meeting. And I think that's everything on Shazma's presentation. So I think we're joined by Charmaine from Arden. So Charmaine, are you there?
Hi there, yes, I'm here.
Fantastic. So can I pass over to you if that's okay?
Sure, no problem.
Super,
so hi,
thank you.
No worries. So I'm going to just quickly demonstrate how you access the template via your EMIS system, and just briefly how you use it, but it's very similar to all of the other Arden's templates if you are using them. Hopefully you can see my EMIS screen. If you can't, then just give me a shout. But within a consultation, you're just accessing the template the normal way, which is the run template option. Now, as Lucy mentioned in the webinar, in the presentation slides just now, we have updated this template very recently. So we are on version 15.5. So if you just type in care home, that will find you the care home review template. You're only going to get one version. You're not going to get as many as mine. That's just because I'm on a test system. And pretty much most of you will have this. So if you are on something called Resource Publisher, you get everything straight away. So most of you should have this in your system ready for you to use. I'm just going to open it up so you can have a look. Now, the template has been structured just like any normal Arden's template. So what we do is we break it down by pages on the left-hand side. Nothing is ever mandatory because we want you to come into the information as and when you require it. But we do let you know when things are needed for payment by highlighting it in red. Now, what we've done with this updated care home review template is we've given you a page for just network DES only. So that will give you a summary of the requirements for your care home, mainly your investment impact fund for this financial year. And what it's doing here is giving you the coding, which is the requirement for you to be paid. So you have to make sure you get these codes in order for it to be met for your network DES requirements. Now, remember, on the right-hand side, you will always see previous information. So if you have entered it, you'll be able to see exactly when that was entered on the right-hand side. But what we've done there is we've broken it down by the indicators. So the very top one is looking at recording the fact that the patient needs to be in or is in a care home and making sure that you're using the relevant codes. Not only will that satisfy the need for your investment impact fund, but also the enhanced care home element of network DES as well. So that's for both of them. We've also got the personalised care and support plan. So here you can say whether it's been agreed or reviewed. You've got the structured medication review to say it's actually been done. And then at the very bottom, if you want to keep track of the ward rounds that you're doing, then we've got the option there for your weekly care home ward round and also your MDT. Now, obviously, we appreciate this is just the code for payment. There's a lot more work that you need to do behind that. So for your personalised care and support planning, on the left-hand side, you've got a care planning page. And here, that would give you all of the basic and core elements to build and create the care plan for your care home patient. So here you've got areas around future care planning, you've got next of kin details, etc. Just going back, for the structured medication review area, we've got the medication review tab. So this is here if you want to complete a med review. Now, we do have a more detailed, separate structured medication review template, but everything that you need and require for care homes and to meet the investment impact fund will be in this template to save you having to go in and out of different templates. So here you've got areas such as medication, polypharmacy, etc. Now, I think we might have a question from Lucy. I'm just going to stop just in case it's a question that relates to that. Please feel free to unmute yourself if you have a question, Lucy.
Oh, hi, Charmaine. I was just about that first question about the type of care home.
Yes.
So what would you tick if your care home resident lives in a learning disability home or a mental health home?
I think it would be lives in care home. I would imagine it's going to be more of that than your nursing home. So I would suggest that one.
Okay.
That's the advice that Shazma offered. So if they're in an LD or mental health home, to just tick residential home.
Oh, to tick a residential home if they're LD
can I
or
just
mental
say
health.
that's in the impact and investment funding description as well. Learning disability and mental health homes are always residential homes.
So when would you tick that other one, lives in a care home? Number C, letter C.
I'll pass that on to Lucy and team because that's more of an area question.
So Lucy, I'd have to go back to Shazma on that. So the advice that she gave in her presentation was either to tick nursing home or residential home. So LD and mental health to tick residential home or nursing home. There wasn't the option to tick lives in a care home.
Okay, so we might need that moving from. I don't know. Can you do tailored template, Charmaine, or not?
We can, but it'd be for the whole of Sutton rather than just an individual practice.
Okay, that might be worth doing, mightn't it? If because otherwise it gets confusing. I know.
Yeah, I know, but all four, as far as we know, all four codes are counted towards your network theirs. But obviously, that's the information that you've provided there is what you've decided for Sutton. That for mental health, it would be your residential home.
Yeah, and the reason why I ask is I'm not a GP, but I evaluate and work with the BI team, and so the coding is really important. So it's not just about funding, it's about tracking people through.
Absolutely. I think that's for you all to decide what you want to do and when you want Sutton to use the care home code.
Thank you.
See,
Charmaine, sorry, you've got a couple of other questions. Can I bring Hi in, please?
Sure. How can I help?
Hi, Charmaine. So I'm the care home pharmacist. So I've been using the medication review, but the more lengthy one instead of going into this one. So would it still pick up though as the percentage? So because obviously the other one is longer, would you recommend for me to go in the other one rather than this one?
It depends how detailed you want to do it. This medication review page here is just picking up the core elements that you need to complete the review for this care home patient, but each one will feed through from one another, whatever one you're using. But what is important, it's just this code here, which is a structured medication review, to say that it has been completed in order for it to meet the requirements of your investment impact fund. But both templates have that code within it.
Okay, yeah, which I do tick when I do carry one out. The other thing I like to mention is like what Lucy picks up in the coding with the lives in care home. No, but under medication reviews, I find so there's some codes under like if the patient needs help with their medications. So it says medications given by so you only got things like community nurses, you have like other nurses instead of care home nurses or carers within the care home. So it's not, so I have to pick up as one of the options, but it's not it's not the correct option really, because the patient live in a care home. So maybe I don't know whether you want to feed that back to your team to kind of clarify that more.
And are you referring to this template though, or our structured medication review template?
I think it's the other one, but this might come, it might comes under, yeah, it's, I think adherence, I think it comes under, so it might be the other one. I haven't really used this one, so I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's definitely where I know it's there as well. So yeah. I will feed that back to our development team.
Yeah. That's all really. Thank you.
No worries. Any more questions at all? Please do unmute.
So yeah, going back to the first question, I'm Chunhua, learning disability nurse working for LD care home support team, and in Sutton there are LD homes but not residential or nursing. They are many of them, also many of homes are supported living homes as well. So obviously EHCH is not relevant to supported living homes. So sometimes it is difficult for the GP surgeries to know whether it is residential or supported living. So yeah, if supported living homes by any chance get EHCH or MDT meeting done, I don't think they can add as a residential or nursing home. So yeah, GP will have to clarify before doing the MDT meeting.
Okay, I think that's more of a processy thing. Lucy, I don't know whether you want to add anything to that at all.
Again, I think we'll have to have that discussion with Shazma, because she leads on this. So I'll take that back to Shazma Chunhua. Okay.
Yep, thank you.
I don't think that there's any more questions, but yeah, do let me know if there is.
There's a couple in the chat.
So we've got one from Elvis who says that he can't find the new version of this template.
So Elvis, could you let me know whether you're template manager or if you're resource publisher, and you'll find that out by going to the EMIS bubble, down to configuration and then template manager, or it would say RP. If you are RP, resource publisher, you'll definitely have the template in there. If you can't find it, it might be worth just hitting the refresh button within the RP module, and then that should hopefully push it through. If you're a template manager site, eventually it'll be available on our portal for you to download and have straight away. I hope that answers your question.
Thanks, Charmaine. And then we've got another question from Old Courthouse Surgery, which says, can we retrospectively code those ward rounds that we did not code using current template versions?
You definitely can do. I'm just seeing whether we've got, you can, but when you save it, just make sure that you're adding the date that you're doing it, because otherwise it will just add today's date for that code. But you can do, yeah, as long as it's obviously for this financial year.
And then the last question is, how often for DES do we need a structured medication review and a PCSP? Is it once a year?
My understanding, it is once a year that it's looking for.
Thank you.
So yes, so just going back, there's your care planning page, there's your medication review page. What we also have in this template is a ward round page as well. So if you do have any clinicians going out and doing a ward round, then hopefully this will help them just to capture that ward round information. So there's that weekly care home ward round there. You've got your encounter types here. So you've got, for instance, you've got a care home visit or whatever encounter type you decide in your area. You've got the history, observations, examination, etc. Other areas that we have in this template are as follows. So we've got the administration page. If you want to, again, update the residential status, post-discharge review information and consent to share the information for the patient. And we do have a baseline and initial assessment page. So this is really good if you are not aware of this patient and you just want a quick update on where this patient is. So here you'll be able to see that we cover things such as vision, skin in there, bone health, etc. All of the information, if recorded, will be on the right-hand side, but if you do want to update any areas, you can do that using the drop-down field. And then just other areas such as dementia assessment and Rockwood frailty scale, if you need to complete that information. At the very bottom, we've got vaccinations and we've got the MDT approach. So if you do want to record information around MDT, then you can do using this page here. And I think we've got a question from Lucy there. Oh, 2 questions, just unmute yourself.
Sorry. I was just looking at, there's Olu and Brigida in front of me. So I don't know if you want to take them first.
Yeah, this is Olu. To be honest, I could have waited till the end because I just wanted to ask a question. If I could invite Charmaine to other areas within the teams, within Southwest London, so that we'll be able to hopefully use Arden's template as a Southwest London template.
Yes, please do. Anything
Okay.
you need, any extra training, just call on me. That's absolutely fine.
Fantastic. Thank you. And do you want to pop your email address on the chat, please, so that I could take that off? Or I'll speak to Lucy after the meeting.
I will do. I'll do that just before I go. No problem.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions?
I'm sorry, my hand is up, but you've answered my question, which was at the top of the chat. So thank you.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. Lucy, over to you then with your question.
Yes. This is really good. It's really exciting to see all of this. I can't access EMIS. Is there a way to get the template sent to us so we can just see what's in it? Or
yes. So
thank you.
Put my email down. Yeah, send me an email and I'll get it sent over for you. Yeah, no problem.
Lovely. And then I had another question, because I'm leading, rolling out remote monitoring across Southwest London. And one of the things that doesn't get captured at the moment is if a care home telephones the GPs and speaks to someone in the practice. Is there somewhere in this template that records that you could just say, well, I've had a conversation? I think I saw it somewhere in one of those ones you were showing earlier, but was it in there?
It had a discharge review. Just moving down to see if there's anything that is reasonable. We've got history information, so we've got area for history.
Maybe it was in that. Yeah.
Observation, examination, management plan. So you have got 3 text boxes here that you can use.
It's just that thing of, when if the GP's on the call, get a phone call from the care home and they need to talk through somebody and just want to write it down that they have had that conversation.
Yeah, so maybe just like a follow-up box. I mean, I'll take it back to our development team. I mean, they'll probably just use their consultation to record that information rather than the template. That's probably how they're used to doing it. But I will take that back to our development team to see if they think that might be useful to add to our template.
Okay.
It's just within areas that you want just to record any conversations had over the phone is what you're saying. So I'll take that back and see what they suggest.
Because when we look at the GP data for the whole of Southwest London, it's just not coded. There's a lot that's just miscellaneous, and it would just be great to have that this was a phone call.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Let me take that back and see what we can do, and then I'll come back to you with a suggestion.
Lovely. Thank you.
Just want to mention, I'm just conscious I'm probably taking a lot of your time here. Obviously you've saved the template once you've completed everything. Just another couple of things that I do want to mention. If you are a GP who's going out to a care home to see a patient, but you don't have access to EMIS, it's just to let you know that we've got printed versions of these templates that you can print a batch off and then take with you if needed. Now, to access them, if you go to EMIS and down to configuration, you're either going to have template manager here or resource publisher, which is what I mentioned earlier. And within that, you've got an area called document templates. Now, this is where we keep all of our documents, and we've got a whole range of different documents that you can use. But within that, there's a data gathering forms area. And here you've got the care home data gathering for clinicians. So this is basically just a document version of that template that I just showed you. So if you haven't got access to EMIS, you can by hand just complete the information and then take that back in, maybe hand it over to your admin team, and they'll be able to open that template and follow it exactly to how it is for the information that you've recorded. So it's just worth mentioning that we do have that if needed, and you can just print copies of that. And then the only last thing that I want to mention is I'm just going to swap systems to show you this, is the searches that we have to help you monitor at practice level your activity. If I can remember my password. No, I can't remember it. 1 second. There we go. So if we just go to the EMIS bubble and down to reporting, this is where you find all Arden's searches. Now within there, you've got 5.3, the Arden's national contract reports. This is where you find all of your searches that relate to network contract devs. So open that folder there, and you've got another folder for the investment impact fund. And here you've got the care home folder. So this is letting you know exactly what's been done and what work still needs to be done for your care home patients. These patients still require their care plan. These patients still require their structured medication review. So it's definitely worth getting your admin team to run these every so often to make sure that these patients are being picked up throughout the year so that you don't miss out on any elements of their investment impact fund. We've also got a folder here for care homes. This is overall really, it's looking at the number of patients that you have coded as care home residents. And what we've got here is data quality searches folder. So this will show you where patients have been incorrectly coded as being in a care home. So they're not going to be picked up in any of your searches. So if not done so already, it might be worth answering the admin team. So just run that search and just make sure that there is no patients in that and that they are coding them if there is patients that does come up in that search. And that was everything that I had to show you. So please do let me know if there is any questions, and I will leave like a step-by-step training guide in the chat, so you've got that to share that with your colleagues as well. But I hope that's been useful.
Thanks, Charmaine. Comments in the chat. Love this template. Thank you. I've popped your email address in the chat box just for reference for other people. So thank you.
Okay, that's brilliant. Thank you very much. I'll stop sharing my screen now.
Thank you. Super.
And
so
Lucy, I think there's one hand. There's a hand up.
I think that's Brigida. I think she'd already asked that the question had already been answered in the chat. Okay, right. So if we can just move on. So Mandy, are you ready to do your proxy update for us, please?
Yes, I am. Thank you.
Super,
thank you. Thanks. Good afternoon, everybody. Sarah, would you be happy to share your, well, let me just see if they will share. Apologies.
I'm happy to share, if not Mandy.
Yeah. Is yours ready?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's great. My system does tend to fall over if I have too much open. So thank you, Lucy, for the invitation to update on proxy access within Saturn today. I thought what I would do is, for the benefit of anybody who may not have been on the last meeting that we attended, is just to run through some of the benefits of proxy access for the ordering of repeat medication, and then we can just have a look at the Sutton figures and where we are. So we know that some of the Sutton homes have already adopted proxy, which is really great, and we do have the opportunity to engage with more homes and GP practices within Sutton. So overall, I think we have probably about 57 homes that we could still engage with. So if anybody is interested in hearing more about proxy, then please do feel free to pop your name in the chat so that we can contact you. And also we can put in the email address for Jill and Sarah into the chat. So it may be that you want to contact Jill or Sarah, who can arrange a meeting with you to discuss proxy. I have a blank screen. I don't know whether that's just me or whether that's everybody.
Yeah, I've got
We can still see. We can see it. Benefits of proxy ordering.
Yeah.
You can see it.
We can see it. Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. So what
I
I'll
can't
do,
see it.
you
It's
can't.
gone. No,
I
it's
can't.
gone.
It's just a white screen for me.
Yeah. Okay.
It
Let
was
me
there.
I
stop
can see
sharing
it.
and try again and see if that works.
Yeah.
Let me try
Sorry.
again.
Well, typical, isn't it? Typical.
Is that any
So-
better for people?
Pardon?
Can you see it now?
Let me have a look.
Yeah. It's
Yes, I can. That's great. Thank you. So just to go through some of the benefits then for proxy ordering. There are fewer risks associated with ordering and issuing. So what we are talking about is obviously moving over from a paper-based system for ordering medicines over to an online system. We do have a couple of testimonials, and I have attached one at the end of the slide, which you can read at your leisure, just to advocate the benefits of proxy from a care home that has been using it for quite some time. It also does give an opportunity to review medication, and this piece is quite important. I know Hi was on the call. So we are finding that if homes and GP practices take the time to review individual residents' medication, and then there are lots of benefits to having that clean record prior to you moving over to the online system. It is easier and it is quicker to process orders, and of course it can be accessed day or night. And it is less time consuming. So as an example, we've had care homes say that on average, it probably takes around 4 minutes per patient order. But of course, that will depend on the number of meds that each resident has. And it does improve communication because there's less toing and froing with phone calls, maybe emails, because it can be done through EMIS. We do have good governance arrangements around proxy. So there is a DPI in place in South West London, and also a information sharing agreement. And we are aligning care homes that are DSPT standards met or working towards. Now we have had a pause here because the project delivery changed, where we were having to work with those homes with DSPT standards met. And so if anybody here today has had an engagement meeting and you've felt a delay in contact, this is the reason why. But we are making contact with homes again as we move forward. So there is improved data security. So care home staff are have their own username and password, and the system is auditable. So at any point in time, we can see who's used the system, what time, what date, and what's been ordered. And that's really helpful if there are any medication queries, or if there were any events relating to meds that needed to be investigated. And of course, it really does support Regulation 12, which was management of meds, for the care home registered managers to be able to give an extra layer of evidence for the CQC if that were ever required. So lots of benefits around clinical safety, around the process itself in terms of efficiency, and being assured that there is overarching information governance around that. And I can see somebody's hand up. I'm sorry, I can't see your name. Is it a legacy hand? Maybe.
Yeah,
I'm not. Sorry, it's Dr. Wimbush. I'm not sure how to. I think only the person who is in charge can take it off. It's from the previous presentation. Sorry.
Oh, no problem. No problem. Thank you. So if we just have a look at the overarching slide first, Sarah, that would be great. So I'll just show you the South West London position with regards to proxy. I think it's slide 5, I think, Sarah.
I have changed it. Has it updated now?
Yes, that's lovely. Thank you. That's great. So this is the overarching position at the moment for South West London. So we had a target when we were in discussions with NHSE. There was a target for 98 care homes, or roughly 25% of care homes adopting proxy access across South West London. So what this is showing really is where we're at with adoption of proxy, and also we've aligned it to care homes who are DSPT standards met or where it's in progress. So we've got a target of 98. We're currently at 43, and we have 55 homes where proxy access is in progress. So we are on our way. Oh, my screen's gone odd again. We are on our way. However, NHSE are hoping that the aim will be that all care homes will adopt proxy, and so we don't want to just stop at those 98. So again, if anybody is interested, then please do talk to us, and we'd be very happy to chat with you and go into a little bit more detail about what it entails. And we'll just have a look now at Sutton. And I'll hand over to Sarah for that, just to go through where we are with those homes. Thank you.
Thank you. Has it updated again, my screen? It just seems to be a little bit slow to...
It has. So I can see slide 3.
Brilliant.
Look.
I don't know what's wrong today. I think my system's a bit sensitive as well. So I'm just going to keep my camera off just to see if that helps. Hopefully that's okay with everyone. So as Mandy said, there were so we have 19 homes in Sutton that are either using proxy ordering or in progress. As Mandy said, there were some homes that were already using proxy ordering before we came in to support homes. So they've implemented it themselves with their GP surgery. And in Sutton, there's 6 of these homes. We've then supported another 3 homes to get across the line and start using proxy ordering. So that's Grasmere, Shirleyview and Belmont. And they've all done now at least 2 orders using proxy ordering now. And then in Sutton, we're supporting another 10 homes through the process. And they're all at various stages. We have 2, Ashland Cottage and Ladore, that are at GP setup stage now. So they've completed everything. The homes have completed everything they need to do, and now the GPs just need to set the staff up with access on EMIS, and then hopefully they'll be able to do their first repeat medication order using proxy ordering with their next cycle. And then there's another 8 homes that are elsewhere in the process. So we've had meetings with the care home and the GP, and there's just a few items that the care home need to do before the GPs can set them up. So I'm in regular contact with those homes and just supporting them with whatever they need to do before we can get them set up and using proxy ordering. So that's just very briefly where we are with Sutton.
That's great. Thank you, Sarah.
Mandy, sorry to interrupt. There's a couple of questions from Bob Calverley. So does it include learning disability residential homes, and how, excuse me, and how can homes apply to set up proxy access?
Okay, so we are focusing on, I mean, we do have a list of all homes. So if there's a request for a particular home, then you know, please do let us know. And to apply, all we need to do is, if you can drop your contact details in the chat here, and then we can arrange to set up a meeting with you, just to run through that, and which homes you work with, that you cover. So we can do that.
Lovely, thank you.
But yeah, which GP practice is it? Is it a GP practice? Sorry, I don't know. Is that Dr. Carverley?
Yeah, sorry, I can't put my hand up, so I'm struggling with the icons and things. We cover Carshalton Nursing Home. We've been trying to do this for about 8 months.
Oh, okay.
So it's just it's disappointing to find it's stuck, because I don't know where it's stuck, and every time I ask them and they say it's stuck. So, but we've got 4 other learning disability residential homes. We'd be really keen to get them set up as well.
Okay.
So I just really want to try and move it forwards.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So we'll look into Carshalton and see what's been happening there, and we can get straight in touch. I don't know whether we've got Carshalton on the we've got it down as in progress, haven't we?
Yeah, I know that they were having a lot of issues with their NHS Mail accounts that they needed setting up, so that's taken a little bit longer to sort out than normal. There were just a few issues surrounding that.
Yeah, okay. So we'll pick up on that, Dr. Carverley. We'll pick up on it separately and make contact with you. Can you drop your email in the chat? Is that okay? Thank you. Thanks, Lucy. Was there another question?
No, I think that's all. Thanks, Mandy.
Great, thank you.
Super, thank you. So if there's no more questions about proxy ordering, I'd like to bring in Aisling to present on winter pressures. Aisling, if you're there.
Hi there.
Hi.
Thank you for inviting me to your meeting. I've got some brief slides, but every time I've tried to share recently, it just comes up with a blank screen. So I've now put the slides up. No?
Yeah, it's a blank screen. Do you want to send them to me and I can present them on your behalf?
Sorry, I don't know. It just happened last week and it's just been completely bizarre. So share and then this one.
In the meantime, shall we present, Lucy, or what would you like?
Yeah, you've got a quick one, haven't you, Lucy? So that's fine if you want to go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you. Saga, do you want to do your bit?
Yep.
Thank you. You share your screen. So we're going to tell you about remote monitoring, give you a quick update on where things are at in Sutton.
All right, has that come up for everyone?
Yep.
Great. Thanks, Lucy. Yep, so I'm Saga and I work with Lucy and Jenny Freeman, who you may have met in previous meetings on the remote monitoring project. Just a quick progress update for you this month on how we're tracking.
Saga, do you want to just put it on the slideshow?
Oh, yeah.
And then it fills the screen up for everybody. So we're all on tiny screens, well, some of us are. You know, you found it? Oh, perfect. Thank you.
Is that working?
Yeah, lovely. It's good. It's great. Yeah.
Great. So that's just a snapshot of our progress numbers to date. The key bits to note, the change from last month is we've been focusing more on getting homes trained and onboarded. So we've managed to add a couple more this month, and we've had 4 more that are now using the equipment regularly to take readings. So either setting their baselines and actively monitoring their residents. So that's where we've kind of been focusing our efforts. The other numbers to kind of highlight here are the last 2 columns, where we now have 319 new unique residents since the start of the pilot that are now onboarded onto the VCare platform. And of that, we are aware of 141 of those users are now actively using, that are being monitored using the system. So we're looking to increase those numbers, but yeah, it's a slow and steady race. And yeah, we've just started getting access to a bit more data to understand once users have been added to the system, to track who's actually being using and monitoring. So just wanted to highlight that for you today. If I move to the next slide, this kind of is more of just a visual of all the homes that we're working through and are at different stages of the pipeline, you'll notice that 2 have moved on from signing the service agreement and sorting out IG and paperwork now into being trained and onboarded, and there's another 4 now that are actually that are considered onboarded, and that means that they're now able to take readings, and the staff have trained and are now using the product. The key messages we wanted to highlight, as I've covered, is the first one there, which was the focus has been on training homes and getting them to go live. We have a pipeline of a few homes coming through the training system in the next week. So just to call them out, those are Allswell Lodge, Henford, Southdown and York Road. And we'll be in touch with the lead GPs once they've been trained and they're ready to go live. We've recently also added access, given access to the care home support team, who can now see the vitals for those residents at the homes that have now been onboarded. There's just a piece there about asking the care home to go in and accept that request, and that access is then granted. We have 5 GPs who are now approved for access for 4 care homes. So we are looking to increase that number over the next coming month. So as more homes go live, we will reach out to you. And we've had a few challenges with management and care home staff movements, which have kind of delayed some of our progress. It's mainly been now we're having to retrain some of the management who have now left, and there's new staff coming in, and so we're just going through refresher training processes to get them up to speed. This month we haven't had any new signed service agreements. We are having a little bit of trouble getting a second signature, and that's of the register's manager that we need to get sign off on the project. But we are escalating those and looking to get those homes on board and trained immediately. One of the success stories, I guess, is Grasmere Rest Home. We managed to speak to Ivona, who we check in on a regular basis to see how she's coming along with remote monitoring, and she provided us with a quote that we thought would be quite valuable to share. So it just says, we're using the VCare platform to take daily readings using the Bluetooth devices of all our residents. Our GP logs in and checks the readings at our weekly triage meetings. One of our residents had her BP monitored for 2 weeks using the VCare system to take readings. The GP was able to log in and view the data through the VCare portal at the weekly check-in. We were able to reassure the resident that the GP had no concerns. So that's an example of how we would like, how we're aiming for the system to be working and supporting the care homes. And yeah, so that's kind of where we're heading, and it's good to see that we're able to achieve that at some of the homes as we embark on this journey. Over here is a slide of just your key contacts if you wanted to get in touch with us about remote monitoring, or if you had any questions, or if we could support you any further. You'll see there you've got Chasma, Lucy Webber, myself, Jenny Freeman and Lucy McCulloch, who you're probably familiar with. So please feel free to reach out with any questions and how we can support you better. And the other question really there is, if you come across a care home that you think would really benefit from this pilot, please don't hesitate to let us know, and we can have that discussion and see how we can support.
Thanks,
Great.
Argo.
Thank you.
Really great to see a testament there from Grasmere, see how it's working, which is fantastic. So thank you.
Thanks, Lucy.
Lovely. So now, hopefully, we'll present winter pressures from Aisling. So hopefully you can see my screen. Put it on a slideshow.
It was blank for a second, so I thought I'd passed on my bad MS Teams luck. So this is an update that I've done originally for BRT, but we'll go to a couple of other meetings. So I'll just really quickly whiz through it. So the next page just gives you a breakdown of where the winter funding that we've received has gone into. So there's 2 pots of winter funding that I'll be looking after, which is the main acute system winter funding, which it actually was all focused on maintaining the elective flow. And then secondly, we've got an amount of money that came through adult social care, which is known as the discharge to assess money, confusingly, as it's the adult social care budget. So I'll just really quickly talk to this. So the first slide, admission avoidance, is about the extension of existing schemes. So we're putting more therapists, more nurses, and more equipment into the front door of the hospital. And I'm talking about all areas of the front door of the hospital to try and avoid patients needing to come in for a stay, which we know is not in their best interests ultimately. The next bit along is about acute and non-acute beds. So we know that because there was a move to the renal wards at St Helier, that there's more pressure on our beds in hospital. Also because of maintaining the green or COVID secure pathways through the hospital for elective care, which we have to keep running all winter for priority 1 and 2, which is patients need to be done between immediately and 3 days time. It's not the same as previous winters where you could bed patients wherever there was a space. There needs to be dedicated elective areas and dedicated non-elective areas. So patient flow is an issue this year, which we know about. So we tried to supplement that with beds outside of the hospital, so a high number of intermediate beds. And we're also looking for virtual wards, step up, step down beds. So we've started putting out a specification together for any homes that might be interested in those beds. So just to state that those would be ideally 10 co-located beds, which would help patients on step up and step down from hospital. It's just flashed up 5 minutes, so I'm going to really quickly say that we're also focusing extra resource on patient flow, that we can discharge patients from hospital really quickly. Lucy, if you'd kindly bring up the other document, because I'm aware I don't want to make you run over. So this was all about the funding for winter, but completely separate to this. We're just finalising a document, and I don't know whether it would be useful for Care Home or other colleagues to have. I know Bob Calverley on the call, you'll have seen it separately through Primary Care Management Group. We're putting together a 1-pager. It's actually 3 pages now, but we desperately wanted it to be 1 page, which just shows where we can refer patients to that isn't ED. So the things that are on there, things like the surgical assessment unit, there's long COVID, there's the community support, palliative care hub. There's all sorts of things on there just to remind us. I'd be more than happy to send it out to this group via Lucy Webber, if that's okay, if it might be helpful. And then the last thing I'll just say is just about the system pressure in general. So front door ED attendances, the modelling shows that we'd be about 10,000 attendances a month. We're currently at 13,000 and climbing. So summer this year looked like January any other winter. So the pressure is extremely high. I know that everyone's pulling out all the stops to do whatever they can, but the focus on the back door. So I suppose from the slide that you can see up, there's another carousel or escalator of people coming out the back door of the hospital. And it's all about maintaining that flow out of the hospital as quickly as possible, because you can guarantee on any given day that there's anywhere between 6 and 20 patients at the front door waiting to get into that bed at the back door. So I know that's a really simplistic way of looking at it, but the pressure in the system is just exceedingly high at the moment. I know that's been really quick, and we will send out the quick view to you, but happy to take any questions.
Thanks, Aisling. So I can't see any questions at the moment. Let me just check the chat. Doesn't look like there's anything there, but I'll send your slides out if that's okay, and direct people to you if they've got any questions following this, okay? Super. So with 3 minutes to spare, thanks ever so much, everyone. That was a really good webinar. I'll send out the slides and the recording shortly to everyone that's attended today and those that weren't able to attend. If you've got any follow-up questions, please do point them in my direction and I can forward them on. But thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Lucy.
Thanks all.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lucy. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.